Okay, just got back from seeing Prometheus in 3D. I didn't really care about this movie going into it. Like, I know this movie is like really highly anticipated and it's been really hyped up, you know. And so I went into this movie like I hadn't seen any trailers or clips. Like I seen 1 or 2 trailers on TV, like the 30-second average. Okay, even then I wasn't really paying close attention to them because this film I just didn't care about it. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll get around to seeing it just because it's like this big famous film. Yeah, sure, I'll get around to seeing it, but I'm not really interested in it. I was aware I heard there's like, I know, going into this movie, I knew it was supposed to be tied into the Alien series in some way. And I'm aware of the huge, like, argument online. You know, like, everyone's arguing whether or not it's a prequel to Alien or not, whether or not it's some sort of parallel story to Alien. I'm aware that, the guy who directed this movie, Ripley Scott, I think, I'm aware that he said in an interview that this is not a direct prequel to Alien. He said something along those lines, so apparently his word means it's not a prequel. I'll get into that later, but so the story of the movie is basically these geologists or whatever on Earth, they find these cave drawings of the engineer, which is this alien race. They find a cave drawing of the engineers pointing at a star system. They're pointing at this planet in this other solar system or something like that. So the Weyland company launched this expedition. They round up a bunch of people to go to this planet to investigate it, and they hope, and by investigating this planet, they hope to find the engineers, and they hope to learn the origins of the human race. So that's basically the story of the movie. They go to this planet hoping to find the origins of the human race. So I'm gonna just talk about the 3D to begin with before I get into like the actual movie. The 3D sucked. They go for the like immersive 3D, that whole thing. So if you're into that kind of stuff, there you go, have fun with it. You know, like you could tell it was layered, but you have moments like this is kind of like the sandstorm kind of segment, where there's like rocks kind of like flying through the air. So I assume that's kind of supposed to come out the screen, but it just didn't work for me. Like you could tell things were layered in most scenes, but like for stuff like the sandstorm sequence, it didn't really come out the screen or anything. Like I had the same problem with Resident Evil 4, and in that was like a gimmicky 3D movie. Like stuff came out the screen every 5 seconds with that. Well, not much to be fair, but it had its moments, like when Alice threw the blades at the screen, but. Not like there wasn't one point in that movie where I felt as if something was actually coming out the screen. I'm not sure if it's just me. Maybe 3D just doesn't work on me, or maybe the cinemas I've been going to just have really shitty like screens or something. Maybe that's why. But yeah, like the sandstorm segment, you on paper you would expect it to be so much cooler in 3D, but it just didn't work. Like it goes for the immersive kind of 3D anyway. And yeah, sure, I could tell things were layered, but it wasn't worth it though. I mean, if you're into that atmosphere kind of 3D, go ahead, I guess you'll enjoy it. Like with me, I just think that immersive 3D is just a bunch of bullshit. Like, I really don't buy into that immersive stuff. I would rather something like My Bloody Valentine or Friday the 13th Part 3, that kind of 3D. The immersive 3D is just a bunch of bullshit if you ask me. I really don't see the appeal to it. Like when I watched Avatar in 3D and 2D, I did not feel any more immersed into the film when I watched it in 3D. It's just immersive 3D. I'm not a fan of it. But if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, go check out Prometheus. I guess you'll enjoy the 3D. Okay, so on to the movie itself now. What did I think of it? Ultimately, it was okay. It wasn't bad. But it certainly wasn't good either. And like you get so many people online that bashing the people who didn't like the movie. They're like, you know, that it's too deep for you. It's, you know, you just don't get the message. You're not willing to think about it. You just want actions, explosions. You know, you get those kind of snobby people trying to defend the movie. But, you know, at the end of the day, people, you know, I didn't like it. People didn't like it. Just deal with it. You know, like I'm fine with no action and all that kind of shit. But the story of this movie just. It was interesting. Yeah, like the story of the movie was interesting, but my biggest argument with the movie is the ending, basically. I'll get into that until later because it's kind of hard for me to explain the ending without giving spoilers here. But the ending is it's what kind of pushed me over the edge. Like I am very close to not liking the movie. So like say if on a scale of 1 to 10, 5 is average. Like I don't hate the movie, I don't like the movie either. Like I guess I would be leaning over towards a 4. So I'm leaning into not liking this movie. Yeah, but I guess I'm on a 5. This movie is really, really average, and I'm not quite sure what I think of it. It was alright, I guess. So, what to say now? For starters, the characters were awful. I mean, you really do not give a shit about any of these characters. I was really surprised by these characters. There's like 17 crew members. I think there were 17. It's certainly double digits. I know it's definitely over 15. It's like 17 crew members on the ship, I believe. I'm pretty sure you didn't even see half of them. Like, I didn't count or anything, but I don't even remember half of them. And like, yeah, it's just like, you know, there's no character development or anything like that. You just don't give a shit about any of these characters. And like, I guess if they were focusing on the story and the questions they're presenting to us throughout the movie, I guess it's possible for a film to do that without focusing on characters, I guess. But the story would have to be pretty damn interesting. And the story for this movie was kind of interesting, but it wasn't that interesting. Like for example, of course, one person dies in this movie. I'm not going to say who, so don't worry about spoilers. But one person dies in this movie at one point, and they have all this really sad, you know, all this sad music. They're showing the characters' reactions, and they are clearly trying to make this out to be such a really sad moment, you know. And you just don't give a shit. I was just sitting there kind of rolling my eyes because they try to make it out to be such a sad moment, but you really don't care. Like the characterization of these characters in this movie, it is bad. Like, it's pretty awful, I will say that. I can't buy anyone ever saying the characters in this movie were that good, were good characters. They sucked. For a 2-hour-long movie, this did have quite a bit of filler as well. Like, you just have a bunch of shots or scenes which just didn't need to be in the movie. They were just there to like pad out the runtime. So that was like kind of annoying. Yeah, that's one thing. A lot of the dialogue was kind of bad. Like just the dialogue was kind of bad. One like particular example I can remember word for word, which I was kind of like, Jesus Christ, did that really just happen? I'm not sure that like people might not even pick up on this. Might be the only person in the world that picks up on this, but this just bugged me. This guy's walking through. Don't worry, this isn't spoilers or anything. This guy's walking through the ship, and you know, this woman, like the leader or whatever, she's kind of in the spaceship. But this guy's walking through the structure on the planet, basically. So the guy's on the planet walking through the structure. Then kind of like the leader of the expedition or whatever, like the leader of the ship and everything. This woman, she's like in the spaceship while this guy's walking through the structure on the planet. She's watching. She's seeing what he's seeing through a camera. What he does, he switches off his camera so she can't see what he's seeing. And so you know, you see. So then we cut back to her. We see her facial expression, and then she goes, "Son of a bitch," cuts me off. And I was kind of like sitting there like, you really like this movie, just like that line. I was like, no. Like my complaint about the line is like, I really don't think anybody would actually say that out loud. I mean, it's like they think the audience are so stupid that we wouldn't like realize that he was the one that switched off the camera. I just felt as if the director thought that we were too stupid to figure out he shut off the camera. So they have her say that line, "Son of a bitch, cut me off," as if she needs to clarify he was the one that shut off the camera. It's like, yes, we got that. That line. I just didn't like the line. Okay, like yeah, sure, I'm criticizing the movie quite a lot here. Here's the plus side: the visuals were great, the special effects were great. You know, it's mostly CGI, but it's you know, like the creatures, the landscape and everything. It is mostly CGI. Yeah, you do have a lot of CGI effects in this movie, but the CGI it's good. You know, like I watched this in 3D, and 3D do help hide really shitty special effects, like really awful special effects when you're watching a 3D film seem okay, and then okay special effects seem awesome. you know, when you're watching 3D films, because like the 3D effects and the glasses kind of help hide the bad special effects. So like I watched this in 3D, so I'm just saying, I watched this in 3D and I thought the special effects were great. They were fantastic. So maybe the special effects were really mediocre in 2D, I don't know, but I watched it in 3D and the special effects were good. Like when I watched Transformers 3 in 2D, like I hated that movie. Don't get me wrong, I didn't watch that movie all the way through again. I just caught it on TV for like 5 seconds. The special effects were pretty mediocre, to be honest. Like they were fantastic in the movie when I watched it in 3D. But when I watched it on TV, I was kind of sitting there kind of like, this seems kind of dull and bland. Like, I don't know, the special effects for Transformers 3, like I have second thoughts of it, second thoughts about those special effects now I've watched it, like 5 seconds of it in 2D. Okay, so back on to Prometheus. So the special effects were great in 3D. I am coming to the end of the road here. I mean, I don't have much to say about this movie. It's kind of like a bland movie, to be honest. The thing is about this movie, like this is where I'm kind of having difficulty explaining this point without giving spoilers. The thing about this movie, it's basically the story isn't resolved. The arc of the movie isn't resolved. Like, you know, this dying question, which is constantly being teased to you throughout the whole entire movie. The whole entire point of the movie, the movie doesn't have a point because the story isn't resolved. These really like I've seen some messages on from fanboys on the message boards. The fans of this movie really pissed me off the way they tried to what's the word I'm looking for? You know, like I'm not sure the word I'm looking for is. They tried to explain or give excuses for the shittiness of the ending. Let's say the ending really pissed me off. The way it just ends, basically. It ends and no resolution whatsoever is given to you. I would like to try and defend what I'm saying here, but I'm going to have to do that in the spoiler section. But basically, for the whole time, basically the story of the movie is not resolved, and it ends on a cliffhanger, and it's clearly left open for a sequel. That just kind of pissed me off. That did. It's clearly left open for a sequel, and the movie just felt kind of pointless because nothing was resolved, nothing was explained. The story just ended. Like the story didn't end, the movie ended, but the story didn't. That's what I'm saying. And go back to the effects. I know there's quite a lot of CGI used in this movie. Like the landscape was CGI, the planet was CGI. But when they go inside the structure on the planet, you know, it's like that. You know, the hallways and shit. All of that is practical effects, and it looks great as well. So to the set designers or whatever you want to call them, kudos to them. Did a good job. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the movie. The story, it's like, it was interesting. Like, it certainly held my attention throughout the whole entire movie. I was engrossed, like, into the movie for the whole entire, like, 2.5 hour runtime. I was paying full attention to the movie all the way through it. And, like, yeah, it kept me interested. And then, so, I'm interested, I'm investing my time and my attention into the movie throughout the whole entire movie, and then they just don't explain anything at the very end. They don't explain or resolve anything in the end. So I was kind of like, oh, you know, I felt kind of betrayed or like cheap. Like I felt as if the movie was kind of cheap because it didn't explain anything. So that's what I thought about the story. The characters were awful. There's a bit of filler as well. The characters were awful. No development whatsoever. You don't give a shit when any of them die. You don't recognise any of them. Like, there's supposed to be 17 crew members, and I only remember like 4 of them. Special effects were great, and or at least from a 3D perspective, they were. They have the 3D, immersive 3D, kind of 3D. Personally, I felt it sucked, but if you like immersive 3D, you might enjoy it. And the ending sucked. I guess that's all I have to say. So Prometheus. Like, I know I bitch about this movie a lot, but because it kind of killed 2.5 hours, and it did genuinely hold my attention throughout the whole entire movie, and I was interested in it. Like, the story was good, but all of a sudden it just doesn't get resolved, so that kind of pissed me off. So the movie just feels pointless and like a waste of time because the story isn't resolved, but it did hold my attention, and I was entertained for the 2.5 hour runtime. But like I said, the story isn't resolved, so I felt cheated, and you know, a bit pissed off at the end because of that. It's like they're saying, okay, just, you know, leave it open for a sequel. It's like the director's like, I can't think of an explanation for all this shit. I'll leave it for the sequel. Either that, or he just wants more money because, you know, obviously sequels make money, that sort of shit. Yeah, so the movie, meh, whatever. I guess watch it. Like I don't know what to say. Personally, I would say don't watch it, to be honest. But it's really meh. Like I just didn't really care. Like I'll just forget about the movie. I'll forget that I've seen it until Prometheus 2 is announced, and I'll be like, oh yeah, Prometheus, I remember that movie. So yeah, that's all I have to say. It was very meh. So thanks for watching the review. That's the spoiler-free section of the review. Spoilers are coming up now, so leave if you don't want spoilers. So for this, I'm just going to be talking about the ending pretty much. Like the main question, which kind of pissed me off that they didn't answer, is why do the engineers want to kill us? Why are the engineers trying to wipe us out or kill us? That's basically the burning question, which is, you know, kind of teased throughout the whole entire movie. And they just don't explain it. That just pissed me off. Like, this is what pissed me off even more. The damn fans of this movie. Yeah, I'm not like, I'm generalizing here. Like, yeah, sure, not all of the fans. I'm sure some of the fans are rational out here, but the fans pissed me off because this is how they try to rationalize, or this is the excuse they threw out there. They said, allow me to refer back to one of the lines in the movie. Clearly, the movie's too deep for you to realise this. You know, the fans in this movie. Basically, they said, allow me to refer it back to one of the previous lines of the movie. In order to create, you must destroy. If you don't understand, if that line answers your question, and if you still don't understand the movie, you're clearly a retard or something, you know, that's basically what the fans say. But no, that doesn't make sense. To create, you must destroy. And someone threw out this analogy. For example, when someone wants to create a building, they got to tear down a few trees to make space for the building. Yeah, okay, so explain to me what are they trying to create then? So they got to kill us. What are they trying to do? Are they gonna replace the human race with a new species, or do they want to live on our planet now? Like what you said didn't answer anything. The ending is left open to speculation. Basically, the ending is just left open to speculation. There aren't, like, what answer you give or excuse you give is not a definite answer. This movie, like, I don't care what you say, this movie ends on a cliffhanger, and it's a bullshit cliffhanger, and it's just the whole entire story of the movie is left unanswered for a sequel to answer. I don't give a shit what excuse you give me. Nothing is definite. It's ends on a cliffhanger. No answer is definite. It's just up for speculation. They just leave it open for any theories fans want to create. And until the sequel actually resolves all this, you know, nothing's definite. So, like, my point still stands. They didn't resolve the story, thus it felt pointless. And I don't like the sequel. Like this, they could have condensed this into one movie. I'm saying. There's not much, like most of this film was filler anyway, that's what I'm saying. So it's just they just didn't answer that. That's just my complaint. That's what just pissed me off and made me not like the movie much, and of course the character sucked and all the other stuff. Going back to the character suck, now we're in the spoiler section of the review. Like when the girl, for example, if you're watching this without seeing the movie, this guy gets infected with this black goo stuff from the engineers. The black goo stuff is from the engineers, basically. But basically, oh, it's not close. Basically, they give this guy gets infected with this black goo stuff. The android like infects him, and the leader of the ship, the woman, like the leader of the expedition, she's like, "You're not coming on the ship. Everyone else can come on, but you're not, because you're infected and we don't know if it's contagious or not." And it gets to the point where he's like, you know, just kill me. Yeah, it's for the best. Kill me. It's better than letting this, what could potentially be a contagious disease. It's better than letting this spread. You know, he kind of has that attitude, and he walks towards her, and then she burns him alive and kills him. And And then you get, you know, like his wife or girlfriend, whatever she was supposed to be, she's all crying about it. This is what the death I was talking about, where they have all this sad music playing, and you just really don't care. Like, the movie's clearly trying to be really emotional, and the movie thinks it's a lot more serious and emotional than it actually is, but you just don't care that this guy's just died. And it's, you know, they focus on the girl's reaction and shit, but you don't care about the girl either. Like, you're just like, why should I care about this? That bit was badly done. And like, I felt as if it would have been interesting to see the woman's reaction. The girl that killed the guy, the girl that lit him on fire. I thought it would be interesting to see a reaction, but no, nothing comes of it. Like, you cut back to the character later on, and she's back to her normal self. The death didn't affect her in any way. It's just like, oh, okay. Like, I was expecting to see her reaction to it. That would have been interesting to see, but she's just the same, like, cold, emotionless character she was before. She was pretty one-dimensional. She's just like the stereotypical, we have to do our mission character, that kind of thing. You just really didn't care. Yeah, that's like one of my examples about the characters. You just don't care. And about this being a prequel to Alien, that business. Like, everyone's arguing whether or not this is a prequel to Alien, and I do agree with the people. Like, a lot of people are saying, the film itself isn't a direct prequel to Alien, but basically it'll be like this. Prometheus 2 will be a sequel to Prometheus. Some people are saying it'll be a trilogy. I'm not sure if Ridley Scott has said this is going to be a trilogy. Maybe he has, I don't know. But then maybe if there's a Prometheus 3, that's going to be like a sequel to Prometheus 2. And then maybe Prometheus 3 will be the direct sequel to Alien. So it's like not a direct prequel to Alien, but I'm assuming this is going to be leading up to it. To a direct prequel to Alien, and like maybe Prometheus 2 or 3 will be the direct prequel to Alien. And yeah, oh yeah, and the alien popping up at the end, or at least like a prototype of the alien appearing at the end. Like, this is a spoiler section of the review, like, so I guess it'd be worth mentioning the scene, but I don't know, I don't really have anything to say about the scene. Just, it wasn't cool, it wasn't like a fun nod to Alien. I was kind of like, okay, you know, I just didn't care. I gotta say that octopus creature was kind of lame. I think some people said that it was supposed to be one of the original designs for the xenomorph in, you know, the actual film Alien. Apparently it's supposed to be one of the original designs for the alien, for the xenomorph, and so they're like, oh, it's a cool tribute, it's a cool homage to the original design. I was like, I don't care about the original design. Okay, good to the fans of Alien who care about seeing this alien design, but I just, whatever. Not for me. It was just a lame creature design. I didn't like it. Yeah, I think that's what I have to say about Prometheus. The ending sucked. I don't care what any fans try to rationalise the ending. Give it your best shot. It's left open to your own interpretation. They're just going to answer in a sequel. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So the film was just meh. I'm kind of leaning over towards it being bad. Like, the fans kind of made me not like this movie a bit, because they were kind of annoying on the message boards. I'm pretty sure not all the fans are like this, but some of the fans did seem kind of pompous and douchey, like really, like, you know, high and mighty, like, if you don't like the movie, it's too deep for you, that kind of thing. That's the kind of attitude a lot of them seem to be having. So the fans kind of made me not like the movie. They kind of influenced my opinion, to be honest. But don't get me wrong, like, even when I walked out of the cinemas without seeing any comments from fans to the people who didn't like the movie, even when I walked out of the movie, I was kind of like, that was meh. But seeing the fans attempts to rationalise and explain the movie, that's kind of made me like leaning over towards from average to bad. But yeah, so there we go. Ultimately it was meh, so that's my review. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and yeah, that's it, so see ya. Okay, and there's one last thing that I almost forgot about. This has nothing to do with the movie, this is just like a little story I have of my experience in the cinema, I guess. Basically, like 20 or 30 minutes into the movie, basically, or maybe 40, I don't know, but like 30 or 40 minutes into the movie, this couple, this man and woman, I didn't really get a good look at them because it was so dark and I was wearing the 3D glasses, which made it even darker, so I didn't really get a good look at them. So I don't know how old they were, like if they were like young or just like a 16-year-old pregnant woman, that kind of thing. But this couple, this man and this woman, they walked in, and then all of a sudden they were followed by these two like 5-year-olds. I don't know how old they were. They must have been like 5 years old or something. And they started running around the cinema screaming. Like we were sitting all the way at the back, and you know, of course, the whole entire audience. I could see a lot of people kind of like looking around, like we were all going like, what the hell's going on? Like all these two 5-year-old kids started running around the place, and the couple started walking up the stairs, and you know, the kids were running around the place, and eventually they sat at the back as well, like near us, the couple did, and then, you know, the kids eventually settled down, ran up the stairs, and then sat next to them, their parents, I guess it's their parents. I don't know what the hell was up with this couple. Like, they were so obnoxious. It was just like, you know, the whole, like, I bet someone would have said something if this continued. I mean, the kids, so they sat down, like this was kind of like a tense moment in the movie as well, because you have like, the marine, you know, the people going through the structure on the planet, so like everyone's waiting for an alien to pop out or something, and so the kids, they eventually settle down, sit next to the parents, like at the back row, and the kids just wouldn't shut the hell up. They just kept they were just making, you know, just talking. It was just really annoying. The parents are constantly laughing, like really obnoxiously as well. And like they were, oh my god, they were really pissing me off. Like someone would have said something if they stayed in the cinema for too long, I bet. Like they were like really irritating. Like we're talking, like I could just feel like something grinding on the back of my neck when they were there. Like it was just so random though, because everyone was kind of, you know, this was a well-behaved audience. Like no one was talking or anything. Everyone was just paying attention to the movie. I mean, we didn't even have any teenagers in the audience. I think I was like I think I was like the only teenager in the audience. I think I was like the youngest person there. I'm 17, by the way, and so these two 5-year-old kids just run in out of nowhere along with their parents. Their parents are like laughing as if they're trying to, like, I swear to God, the parents are trying to piss everyone off as well, because even the parents were talking really loudly and laughing with the kids. That was just really irritating. Thankfully, they stayed for like 5 minutes ish, and then they left. I was like, thank God for that. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to handle much more for that. Like, I doubt the rest of the audience would have been able to either. Like, a lot of people were like kind of looking back and everything over to them. Like that was just like a really weird moment. Like the whole entire audience after they left were kind of like, what the fuck? Did that really just happen? By the way, this in the UK here, for you Americans watching this, if you're not familiar with this, you know, the ratings here, we have like you guys have like a PG-13 rating, R rating, X rating. With America, you guys have like the R rating, which is like, I believe that's only people who are 18 years of age can see the movie. However, you could bring like a 2-year-old kid along with you. It's basically like an 18A. Like anyone can see the movie as long as they are accompanied by an adult or guardian, something like that. So you can go see a movie no matter how old you are, as long as you've got an adult. I think that's what an R rating is in America. In the UK, we're a lot more stricter. We don't have that. The closest thing we have to that is a 12A. You got to be over the age of 12 to see the movie. However, you can be under the age of 12 if you have an adult with you. Then we have a 15 rated movie. You've got to be 15 no matter what to see the movie. Then an 18 rated movie, which is the highest one. You got to be 18 no matter what to see the movie. So we have a 15 and 18 rated movie, but we don't have like a 15A, which would be you can see a 15 rated movie with an adult if you're below the age of 15. Like you guys have the R rating, which you can see an 18 rated movie with an adult if you're under the age of 18. But we don't have that kind of thing. So it was just really out of the blue and really weird to see these for like 2 5-year-old kids come into the movie. And by the way, moving on to like the topic of like censorship and shit like that, I do disagree with the UK's rating. Like, I do think we should get American like ratings implemented into the UK rating. Like, we should have stuff like 15As and 18As, because, like, you know, I missed out on a lot of movies I would have liked to see in the cinema. 18 rated movies, so you know, obviously I got to wait for the DVD. Like, I've only got one more one more year left and I'm 18, but the point, you know, I'm still going to miss out on 1 or 2 movies I would like to see, which are going to be rated 18, so I can't see them. But I do like my view on the subject is, you should, kids, like, if you have a kid and you feel as if they are desensitized or mature enough to handle a 15 or 18 rated movie, you know, they can handle the violence and stuff like that. If you feel as if they are desensitized enough or mature enough to handle that sort of stuff, you know, bring them, sure, that's fine. I don't see anything wrong with that, to be honest. However, if your kids are little shits, like the ones which came into our screening of Prometheus for like 5 minutes, if your kids are like just little shits who don't know how to shut the fuck up in a movie, then no, they shouldn't be allowed to come. If they're mature enough to handle the violence and stuff, yeah, sure, that's fine. But if they don't know how to behave, like, you know, if they don't know how, just if they aren't aware of the fact, you should be quiet and respect, you know, everybody else's view and pleasure or whatever in a cinema. They should not be allowed. Like, Jesus Christ, I did forget about them like 5 minutes after they left. Like, I was going to mention it in the review. Like, I'm recording this like 10 minutes after I finished the review. I was kind of like, oh, hang on, I forgot to mention this. I just wanted to mention this little story. Nothing to do with the film, just a little story about my viewing experience, I guess you can say. And I was really disappointed we didn't get a trailer for The Dark Knight Rises. When we saw The Avengers, we got the trailer for The Dark Knight Rises, and it was just really cool to see that in a movie theatre. I mean, watching it on a YouTube screen is one thing, but actually watching it in the cinema with like the surround sound with an audience and with a huge ass, like, you know, screen, I love that kind of thing. So I was kind of hoping we'd get a Dark Knight Rises trailer for this, but we didn't. So I was kind of like, I was kind of disappointed there. But yeah, so that's just my little add-on to the review. So that's it. That's definitely everything now. So thanks for watching and see ya.